About your feet, it's a different world, but we still remember you. I bet you're still smiling from above. And on your day, you're a greatest chieftain where you're mischievous. Up in the more, you take your place. Make me mistake. We've a right to be fearful, but tonight let's be cheerful. Let's lift up a cup in your name and hammer it right, 'cause there's been me out there with signs and clatter. Yours is the tongue and the vein. To the bar, let us lift up our glasses and sing till our hearts break. Here's to our bar tonight. Here's to our bar. We are drumming our glasses, we toasted our lasses. Here's to the bar tonight. So here's to the bar. We are drumming our glasses, we toasted our lasses. Here's to our bar tonight. Here's to the bar as we play down a shanter and laugh at the banter. Here's to our bar tonight.
Hi folks, the song you've just been listening to was written by David McPhee, son of Gordon, one of our members who is on one of the screens, I'm not sure which. Anyway, could I say to you all good morning, good afternoon or good evening, because we are on the internet and we have people from Canada and America and I'm not sure where else, so I'm just covering all the bases there. My name is Martin Kearney, I'm the Senior Vice President of the club currently, and I'd like to thank you all for coming along here tonight, for making the donations, which is absolutely brilliant. Everything we earn tonight goes to charity with Rotary. All charity money goes to charity. There's no money goes anywhere else at all. The total donations so far tonight that we know about are £1,433. We know there's still more to come in, so that is absolutely brilliant. And I thank each and every one of you. It's a tremendous effort. Really, many thanks. Just to let you know, by the way, this show was the idea of Natalie Pendry.
Hello.
Hello. Who's our Junior Vice President and will be Senior Vice President next year, next Rotary year that is. And she'll be our MC for this evening. You might wonder why we have a Londoner, a London boy doing the MC for a Scottish evening, but there we go. Natalie is a hard-working member of the club. This whole thing was her idea. She's put lots of work into it. She has to be really commended for it. And all the background work, all the IT work has been done by John Beaver. Without John, this show would not happen. He is absolutely tremendous, a fantastic asset to the company, and his head is now so big he's not going to get out the door. But that's beside the point. There might be a few glitches tonight, folks. We're on the internet. We might get glitches. Nobody can guarantee that won't happen. We can only pray and hope that they don't. Anyway, a few points to make to you. Can you, when people are talking, if you want to go to speaker view, and that is if you go to the top, I don't know about tablets, but on a PC or a what do you call it, a laptop, if you go to the top right hand side of your screen, you will see where it says view. You can click on that and then pick speaker view. That way you're not seeing everybody, you're just seeing the person that's speaking. Obviously when it's a screen share that's going on, that doesn't apply, that would just take over. Another point, could you all, if you haven't already done so, please mute yourself, because spurious noises in the background will just ruin it for everybody else. So we really want to have a quiet background, and I thank you again for that. Somebody's just coughed there, so somebody's not on mute. Who was it? Sorry. Marianne, could you put yourself on mute, please? Could you go to the bottom left-hand side of your screen and put yourself on, just click on mute. That's it, you've done it. Thank you very much. I'm glad you were on screen so we could see you there, yeah. Folks, this will be recorded. This show is being recorded. You'll see the left-hand side of your screen.
Oh, that's annoying.
There's still somebody not using it. Anyway, at the top left-hand side of your screen, you will see it's saying recording. If any of you don't want to be recorded, then just turn off your video. We have an echo going here. Somebody's got a speaker. Somebody's not muted themselves. I don't know. John, could you try turning yourself on mute just now? John Beaver, just try it. As a matter of fact, just and you, Natalie.
No, I've just muted somebody.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going through them all and I'll mute them all.
Right, I'll carry on anyway. As I say, it's being recorded. If you don't want to be recorded, turn off your video. This recording will be put up on YouTube, but not for general viewing. It will be the link to it will be given to all the members, and then if any of you want that recording, just ask the member who invited you along, and they'll give you a link to it. I think really that covers everything. And I can't stress enough, please everybody stay on mute to avoid the background music, the background noise there. And I'm now going to pass you over to Willie Devoy, our club president, and thank you once again for your presence.
There we go, folks. Thanks very much, Martin. You just stole everything I've got written down here, but there we go. That saves me having to do it twice. Good. Now, one thing I will say is that we've got Rotarians from Scotland, England, Wales, South America, Uganda, Tanzania, Germany, Spain, including Tenerife, India, Pakistan, USA, Canada. There we go. Multinational. How's that? So thank you all very much for being here this evening. Normally we would hold a Burns supper in traditional fashion in a hotel. People dressed up in their finery, we would have a haggis, pipe it in, etc. But because of the current pandemic situation, that's not going to happen anywhere probably this year. So this is the next best thing, and hopefully we can get a good night going. We've got some good stuff lined up for you. Unfortunately, you maybe see a bit more of me than you want to, because I'm part of a duo who we try and do a bit of singing now and again. You see that wee smiley guy called David Westwood, you'll see him as well. And more guys than I care to mention here just now. And we've got other people who have invited themselves along. Gordon McPhee, one of our Rotarians, has a very talented musical family. He's got a daughter who sings. His granddaughter's going to sing it in Spanish. And that was his son who composed that original piece of music that you heard at the start. And fabulous it was too. And all those wonderful images which were shared. I think John Beaver's been out with his camera and going round about the Burns heritage sites and taking photographs. Very, very pretty they were too. So, what can we say about Burns? I'll just say a wee bit about him, just a brief outline about what Burns is and what he was about, etc. He was born in, as we know, in 1759, a small village just outside Ayr called Alloway. And he died in Dumfries 37.5 years later, 21st of July 1796. 1759, January 25th, 1759, 21st July 1796. 37.5 years. Not a lot of time on this earth, but he certainly made an impact. He was the son of a tenant farmer, originally a market gardener who then became a tenant farmer to try and increase his income to feed his ever-growing family. He wasn't very successful at it, has to be said. Some of the land that he took over was not the best. But he tried his best. But he was very, very aware of the importance of education. And himself and some other local farmers got together and they hired the services of a newly qualified 18-year-old John Murdoch to teach their children. So Robert Burns was about 6 years of age. His brother Gilbert was about 5 a bit. And they had 3 formal years of education and then the money ran out. But the father continued to educate them at home. But by that time, Burns, very gifted he must have been, he had already got the bug for reading, and he became a very voracious reader throughout his whole lifetime. And he had several other stints educating himself as well. He went to a summer school to learn land measurement when he was about 14 down in Kirkoswald. And this stood him in great stead whenever he then became an exciseman in later years. So in 1786, he had started writing poetry when he was about 15, and then in 1786, he managed to get some poems published, known as poems chiefly in the Scottish dialect or the First Kilmarnock edition. 618 copies, 15 shillings a copy, gave him a total of about £460, less his publishing costs and printing costs, equivalent to date of £73,000. And with that, Burns then decides he wants to go and see a bit of Scotland, in particular Edinburgh. So he heads off to Edinburgh in 1786. And when he gets there, he's already famous. Edinburgh knows all about him. His poems have been shared throughout Scotland. And it has to be said, probably in other parts of the world, because whilst he was having the Kilmarnock edition published in Scotland, there was editions being printed in America. And Burns was the architect of that himself. He made sure that a copy of his poems got on several ships which were sailing across the Atlantic into America. So he wanted fame and he craved that fame and made sure that he got it. And whilst he was in Edinburgh, he was invited into some of the finest houses of the day. I think the people were kind of fascinated by this, what they believed to be a self-taught ploughman boy. And I think they must have thought that he was some sort of illiterate, which they then soon discovered he was anything but, and very, very able at holding conversations in any company. And he was in the houses of the High Court judges and bankers and lawyers and doctors, all the people of the day in Edinburgh. He entertained them. And he stayed there for a couple of years, went and did a tour of Scotland, went up to around about outside Stonehaven in Aberdeenshire, where his father came from. And he wanted to see where the ancestors were. And he also got as far as Inverness, and he saw Culloden, he saw the Killiecrankie, he saw the site of the Battle of Killiecrankie. He wrote a song about it too. So I'll maybe hear it later. But it wasn't for him. He decided he wanted to go back home and get married. His one love was Jean Armour. So he headed back home, picked up his relationship with Jean again, and they took a lease on a farm in Dumfriesshire known as Ellis Land. And Burns also took on a job as an exciseman, tax collector. And while he was doing that, he was riding about 300 miles a week. Jean was looking after the farm, bringing up the kids, etc. And Burns was still writing poems. But not only that, he wasn't just writing poetry. Burns set himself about a task of becoming a saviour of songs. And many of the great Scots folk songs you now hear are here because of Burns, because he would hear the people, farming communities singing these songs when they were at their work, and Burns realised that these had never been written down, and he set himself about the task of writing them down. So whenever he heard songs, he would write them down. Sometimes he would just put them down as he heard them. Other times he would add bits to them, polish them up, etc. And he would send them to his publisher, George Thompson. And the majority of them were published after his death in what was known as the Scottish Musical Museum. And he left Scotland with probably one of the finest collections of folk songs of any country in Europe, of which he received absolutely no payment whatsoever. And when he died in 1796, 5 years later, some admirers of his work decided they wanted to hold a kind of honorary dinner. So on his death date, they met at his cottage and they sat down to a simple meal. And it was there that the Reverend Hamilton Paul stood up and he gave an address about Burns in verse form. And this became what is now known in Burns circles as the immortal memory, which is something which you will hear at every Burns supper now. Someone stands up and gives you my memory of Burns, etc., and what Burns means to them. And very quickly, there was other admirers of Burns from other parts of the country decided they wanted to get in the bandwagon. They went in the acting this and they jumped in the bandwagon, and suppers were being held all over Scotland within a few years. And that is the phenomenon as it is today. And it's all down to this one wee book, poems chiefly in the Scottish dialect. His mixture of themes is outstanding at times. Everything from love to nature to politics, animals, just local topics of the day, etc. Burns, he would write about these things. And of course, because he came from the rural communities, farming communities throughout the world now seem to have an affection for Burns. His works have been translated into at least 50 different works, including Mandarin Chinese and Urdu and Arabic, etc. And that's all from just this one book. There were other books published later on, etc. But all the good stuff was published in the first Kilmarnock edition that will appear, with the exception of Tam O'Shanter, which was written in 1790 as it was written to order to accompany an etching of the old kirk at Alloway. And it's supposed to be a footnote. 224 lines of a footnote. What a footnote, eh? So anyway, that's as much as I have to say about Burns, and I hope I haven't bored you too long. And I think we'll hand you back over to Natalie and we'll get our first performance on of the evening.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'd just like to say, I do have a family member here, my cousin Eleanor Bloom. So welcome, Eleanor, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the evening. So our first song is by the group Gallimaufry, and I'm probably saying it totally wrong, which is Willie and David, and they're going to be doing Bonnie Dundee.
The king's crown go down, there are clouds to be broke. So each cavalier who loves honor and need, let him hold a bonnet so haughty Dundee. Come fill up my cup, come fill up my can, come saddle my horses and drive my men, unhook the west port and let us give thee. For it's up with drums they beat, but the forest too smart says just let it be. When the prudent will rather than know Dundee. Come fill up my cup, come fill up my can, come saddle my horses and draw out my men, unhook the west port and let us give free. For it's up with the body so Bonnie Dundee. Hills beyond Penguin and lands beyond Ford, either logs in the south, there are chiefs in the north. There are great dirty wassels, 3,000 times three, try pay for the bonnets of Bonnie Dundee. Come fill up my cup, come fill up my can, come saddle my horses and call out my men, unhook the west port and let us give free. Up with a bonnet so Bonnie Dundee. They'll walk to the hills, to the lee and the rocks. If I only usurper, I'll persuade the fox. Those men no false rings in the midst of their feet, but you'll not seen the last of my bonnets and me. Come fill up my cup, come fill up my can, come saddle my horses and call out my men, and hook the west port and let us give free. For it's up with a bonnet so Bonnie Dundee. Come fill up my cup, come fill up my can, come saddle my horses and call out my men, and hook the west port and let us give free. For it's up with the bonnets so Bonnie Dundee.
Hello, thank you. So next we have Robert McGeorge, who's one of our Rotarians, and he's doing a song called Sunday School.
I'm going to sing a song. I've not sung this for years and years and years. Last time Archie Bride knew a couple of verses as well, but I'll give it now. It's a song brought from America. It used to be called The Darkest Sunday School, and it was converted into the Glasgow Sunday School. So if there's a chorus, hopefully at some point you'll all be able to join in the chorus. Anyway, here it goes. Adam was a gardener and Eve his gentle spouse, till they get caught stealing fruit and started keeping cows. After that things were very happy in the main, until they had a baby boy and started raising Cain. Old folks, young folks, everybody come, join the Glasgow Sunday School. Bring a stick of chewing gum and stick it on the floor, and we'll tell you Bible stories you've never heard before. Pharaoh had a daughter who went bathing in the Nile. She found the baby Moses wearing nothing but a smile. She took him to her father, said, I found this on the shore. Pharaoh only smiled and said, I've heard that one before. Old folks, young folks, everybody come and join the Glasgow Sunday School. Bring a stick of chewing gum and stick it on the floor, and we'll tell you Bible stories you've never heard before. Pharaoh chased the Israelites to try and get them back. He saw them walk across the sea without a plastic mac. Pharaoh said, I'll do the same to show that I'm no mug. He showed these bloody Israelites who's gluggle, gluggle, glug. Oh, old folks, young folks, everybody come. Join the Glasgow Sunday School. Bring a stick of chewing gum, stick it on the floor, and we'll tell you Bible stories you've never heard before. In the land of Babylon, when Balthazar was king, he said, I'll no obey the Lord, I'll go and have my fling. He knew his fling was over, and he said, all flesh is grass. When he saw the writing on the wall, Persians, ya bass. Old folks, young folks, everybody come and join a Glasgow Sunday School. Bring a stick of chewing gum, stick it on the floor, and we'll tell you Bible stories you've never heard before. Jesus had a problem how to feed 5,000 folk. Should he have a running buffet or a purvey and a poke? He turned to his disciples, he said, what do you think they'd wish? And he said, Friday, Lord, we'll have to give them fish. Old folks, young folks, everybody come and join a Glasgow Sunday School. Bring a stick of chewing gum, stick it on the floor. We'll tell you Bible stories like you've never heard before. Christ went to a wedding in the Galilee Hotel. The guests ran out of liquor, things were looking far from well. Christ went to the water tank and said, oh, help me, Father. The cold tap ran with VP White in the hot well, oh, old folks, young folks, everybody come. Join the Glasgow Sunday School. Just bring a stick of chewing gum, stick it on the floor. We'll tell you Bible stories like you've never heard before.
Thank you. If you're wondering about the Christmas, that was a recording from the Rotary Christmas party, which we did via Zoom for the first time. So next we have a poem, and it's by Davy Westwood, and it's called Poor Mally, or something. Anyway.
As Mealy and her lambs together was Idie nibbling on the tether. Upon her clout she coosed a hitch, and ere she wurzled in the ditch. There groaning dying she did lie, when Hewick he came doubting by. Wi' glowering een and lifted hands, poor Hewick like a statue stands. He saw her days were near han ended, but ways my heart he couldna mend it. He keep it wide, but nothing spak. At length poor Mealy silence brak. O thou was lamentable face, appears to mourn my woeful case. My dying words attentive hear, and bear them to my master dear. Tell him if e'er again he keep his muckle gear as by a sheep, or bid him never tie them mair with wicked strings of hemper hair, but call them out to Parker Hill and let them wander at their will. So may his flock increase and grow, to scores of lambs and packs of woe. Tell him he was a masterkin, and I was good to me and bin. And now my dying charge I lay him, my helpless lambs, I trust them wi' him. We bid them save their harmless lives fae dogs and tods and butchers' knives. But gie them good cow milk their fill till they be fit to fend themselves. And tent them duly e'en and born, with takes o' hay and rips o' corn. And may they never learn the gates of other vile unrestful pets, to shrink through slaps and reeve and steal, at stacks of peas or stalks of kale. So may they like their great forbears for money a year come through the shears. So wives will gie them bits of breed, and bairns greet for them when they're dead. My poor took lamb, my son and heir, oh bid him breed him up with care. And if he live to be a beast, to put some havens in his breast. And warn him what I want a name, to stay content with yows at hame. And don't he run and wear his cloots, like other mensless, graceless brutes. And now my yowie silly thing, could keep thee fae a tether string. Oh may thou ne'er forget her up with ony blasted moorland toop. But I keep mine to moop and mell with sheep o' credit like thysel. And now my bairns, with my last breath, I'll lay my blessing wi' ye baith. And when ye think upon your mother, mind to be kind to ane another. Now on a shoot dinna fail to tell my master o' my tale, and bid him burn this cursed tether, and for thy pains they'll get my blither. This said, poor Mealy turned her head, and closed her een amang the deed.
That was poor Mally, a poor sheep anyway. So next, I have a friend who I've known for a long time whose son is in the 3rd year of a degree doing musical theatre. So I asked him to do me a recording of A Fond Kiss. So this is Benji Smokler doing A Fond Kiss.
A fond kiss and then we sever, a farewell alas forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee, pouring sighs and groans I'll wage thee. I'll ne'er blame my partial fancy, nothing could resist my Nancy, but to see her was to love her, love but her and love forever. Had we never loved so blindly, had we never loved so blindly, never met or never parted, we had ne'er been broken hearted. A fond kiss and then we'll sever, a farewell alas forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee, pouring sighs and groans I'll wage thee.
Okay, so next we have our President Willie, who is going to do a Burns poem, but this is not a recording and he's going to do it live.
Okay, folks, here we go. No safety net here. This is one of Burns' great nature poems. It's just To a Moose, or To a Mouse. wee sleekit, cowering, timorous beastie. Oh, what a panic's in thy breastie. Thou needna start a wassy hasty, wi' bicker and brattle. I would be laith to run and chase thee, wi' murder and pattle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union and justifies that ill opinion of me, a poor earthborn companion and fellow mortal. I doubt na whiles that thou may thieve. What then, poor beastie, thou mun live. A demon ichor and a thrave is a small request. I'll get a blessing with the lave and never miss it. The wee bit hussy too in ruin, it silly was the winds are strewing, and naething now to big a new ain of foggies green. And bleak December winds ensuing, baith snell and keen. Thou saw the fields laid bare and waste, and weary winter coming fast, and cosy here beneath the blast thou thought to dwell, till crash, the cruel coulter passed out through thy cell. That wee bit heap of leaves and stubble has cost thee mony a weary nibble. Now thou's turned out for all thy trouble, house or hald, to thole the winter's sleety dribble and cranrear cold. But mousie, thou art no thy lane, improving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes o' mice and men gae after glee, and lee is naught but grief and pain for promised joy. Still, thou art blessed compared with me. The present only toucheth thee, but oh, ca backward cast my ee on prospects drear. And forward though I canna see, I guess and fear. Thank you.
Thank you, Willie. Very, very nice. So the next piece of music is a group of musicians. One of them is my neighbour's son, Martin Laird. So I'm calling this the Martin Laird group because Martin's the only one I know in it, and they're practicing via Zoom, and they're coming up with small videos. So this is the first one by the Martin Laird group.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up on our schedule is Sarah Munro, who is the daughter of our Rotarian Gordon McPhee, and she is going to be singing Ye Banks and Braes.
My name's Sarah Munro and I'm 45 years old. I've been living in Scotland for over 41 years and currently living in Spain. Today I would like to perform to you a song written by Robert Burns in 1791, known as Ye Banks and Braes, and modernly known as the Banks of Doon. This song was inspired by Robert Burns after the story of Margaret, known as Penny Kennedy, whom he met at 18 years old. He was inspired by her story as she was seduced and abandoned by the son of a wealthy man called Andrew McDougall, and sometime Member of Parliament from Worcestershire. Unfortunately, during the suing of her declaration of marriage to him, she died. However, the marriage was validated in court, and Andrew McDougall was ordered to pay £3,000 of Margaret's estate and also to provide for their daughter, Arlington. And I present to you the Banks and Braes of Bonnie Doon. Ye banks and braes of Bonnie Doon, how can ye bloom sae fresh and fair? How can ye chant ye little bird, and I see weary for all care? Ye break my heart, thou wandering bird, that wanders through its flowering thorn. He reminds me of departed joys, departed never to return. I roam by Bonnie Doon to see the rose and woodbine twine, and ilka birds I always love and fondly say, did I o' mine with a lightsome heart I put a rose so sweet upon its thorny tree, and my bosom lover stole my rose, but he left the thorn with me. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy my performance of the Banks and Braes and enjoy the rest of Robbie Burns' celebration.
Thank you, Sarah, and I can see her on the screen. Thank you very much, that was lovely. And next we have Sandra Brown, who is going to do an ode to a fish supper.
Well, tonight, as many people celebrate what they think is Scotland's national dish, the haggis, let me tell you, I'm here to celebrate the fish supper. A humble dish, but nevertheless delicious. The best, they don't come from the Atlantic Fish and Chip Shop in Coatbridge. No, they've won awards, but the best fish suppers of all come from a wee place in Fife called Anstruther. So here is my ode to the Anstruther fish supper. Fair fa your honest sonsy face, great chieftain o' the fast food race. Aboon them all ye tak your place, our pizza, kebab and burger. Weel are ye worthy o' a grace as lang as my finger. Yesterday's herald there ye fill, a your batter is like a distant hill. Your chips, oh, they would help to mend a mill in time of need. And throbbing through your very pores, brown sauce and malt vinegar distill like amber bead. Och, who would our his quern ragout, or a salad that wouldn't stuff a coo, or a veggie burger that would make you spew with perfect scunner, looks doon with sneering and scornful view on sick a dinner. But mark the Scot fish supper fed. The trembling earth resounds his tread. Gie him a knife and fork and his daily bread, and the brawest of praise will come to you. Better still, so he kens he's heck of a foo, gie him with his fish supper a wee iron brew. Och, ye powers wha mak mankind your care, and dish you all this fast food fare. Auld Scotland wants nae mair skinking ware, like Lord help us, finger food dips. No. So, if you wish deep praise and grateful prayer, then dear God, gie all Scotia's bairns and Struthers fish and chips.
So,
Very good.
thank you, Sandra, and I can see you on the screen as well, toasting the ode to the fish supper. So next we have Gallimaufry again, and they're going to be doing Ye Jacobite.
Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I will blame. You shall hear, you shall hear, your doctrines I will blame. You shall hear what is right and what is wrong by the law, by the law. What is right and what is wrong by the law. What is right and what is wrong, the short sword and the long, a weak town and a strong, something wrong, something wrong, a weak town and a strong, something wrong. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I will blame. You shall hear, you shall hear, your doctrines I will blame. You shall hear what makes heroic strife fade afar, fade afar. What makes heroic strife fade afar. What makes heroic strife through when the assassin's night, or hunt up parents' life with bloody war, bloody war, or hunt up parents' life with bloody war. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I will blame. You shall hear, you shall hear, your doctrines I will blame. You shall hear. And we forward in the state, when we're just alone in the States. Then let your skin alone although the rising sun, and leave a man undone to his fate, to his fate, and leave a man undone to his fate. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I will weigh. You shall hear, you shall hear, your doctrines I will weigh. You shall hear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your dolphins I'm unblamed. You shall hear, your dolphins I'm unblamed. You shall hear.
Thank you to everyone for that. Now, next we have, it's a friend of mine who I've known for nearly 30 years called Jo Brady. And I asked her if she would learn Wild Mountain Time and record it for me. So this is Jo Brady singing Wild Mountain Time.
Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme from around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? I will build my love a bower near yon pure crystal fountain, and on it I will pile all the flowers of the mountain. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme from around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? If my true love, she were gone, I would surely find no other where wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme from around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go?
So that was my friend Jo Brady, who learnt that song in one day and recorded it, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Now, we're going to have one more item, and then we're just going to have a little comfort break, so you can go and get another glass of wine or a glass of whiskey, or finish your haggis, or go to the loo, or whatever you want to do. So we'll have a small interval. So the last thing in this half will be another Burns poem by Willie, who's again going to do it live. So I'll pass you over to Willie Devoy for the next Burns poem.
Thank you very much, Natalie. So far, so good, and hope you're all enjoying the entertainment. It's absolutely fabulous. I'm sorry about the poor quality of the Garnham Office stuff. That was just a couple of things that we'd recorded at Davy's house a couple of years back. We tried to get together, but the pandemic stopped us, and then Davy's wife had to go for a COVID test, and that's it. We couldn't have any contact at all. So there we go. Hopefully, if we do this again, we'll have a better sound system. I've got something to confess here, Natalie. I'm not going to keep this all Burns. I'm going to do something different tonight, okay?
Okay.
So there are other Scottish poets out there, you know, and this one's also dead. But he was a great Glaswegian, and he's a great comedian as well. And this is the tale. There's a small town over in France called Effin, and it's very famous for its honey production because they've got big bees. And this is the tale of the big effing bee. He kept bees in the old town of Effin. An effing beekeeper was he. that one day, this effing beekeeper was stung by a big effing bee. Now, the big effing beekeeper's wee effing wife, for the big effing polis she ran, for there's nobody can sort out a big effing bee like a big effing policeman can. Now, the big effing policeman, he did his nut. He ran down the main effing street. In his hand was a big effing baton. He had big effing boots on his feet. The police got a hold of the big effing bee and he twisted the effing bee's wings. But this big effing bee got its own back because this effing bee had 2 stings. Now they're both in the effing museum where the effing folk often come see the remains of the big effing police stung to death by the big effing bee. Thank you.
Thank you, Willie. That was effing good. Thank you very much for that. So like I said, a quick 5-minute break. So go and get yourself another drink or have a comfort break or whatever, and we'll see you back in 5 minutes. Okay, so that's us going to start again. So the next thing is a poem called Holy Willie's Prayer, and I'm just going to pass you over before it gets played to Willie, who wants to say a few words about the poem.
Okay, thanks, Natalie. Right, Holy Willie's Prayer, regarded as one of the best pieces of 18th century satire. And it's just a wee short background about it to try and those that maybe are not aware about it, don't know about it, give you an understanding of what's going on. So Willie Fisher, who the poem is modelled on, was an old bachelor and an elder of Mauchline Kirk. And he was the most sanctimonious, self-righteous individual you could ever have the displeasure of meeting. And he was also a great hypocrite. And he made it his business to spy on the local parishioners, and he would then report them to the parish priest, Father Auld, and they would then have to called upon to answer for their sins in church on a Sunday. But he decided, he reported Gavin Hamilton, one of the great landlords and country gentlemen of Ayrshire, for apparently breaking the Sabbath. Said he was supposedly out in his garden picking potatoes. And Father Auld decided that this was too big for them to deal with. So they took it to the full Presbyterian Council at Ayrshire, Ayr. And a hearing was set up. And Gavin Hamilton, being the country gentleman that he was, and very respected man he wasn't too, he was one of the nice landlords. He enlists the help of his friend, the lawyer, Robert Aiken. Orator Bob, his brothers referred to him. And between the two of them, they gave a fabulous account of themselves, of what was going on, etc. And Auld and Fisher came off second best. They were left red-faced and eating humble pie. And the thing about Fisher was that of all the things that he reported the parishioners for, he was doing them all. He liked the ladies, he liked a drink, he was a gambler, all the sins. But he believed, no matter what, that he would be going to heaven and everybody else would be damned to hell. So this is what Holy Willie's Prayer is about. After the process had taken place, Burns then wrote Holy Willie's Prayer, and this is what he imagined how Fisher would be. Okay, John, on you go.
Okay. And I will. I better say my prayer. Aye. Oh, down it in the heavens dost dwell, was it pleases best I shall. Send yen to heaven and ten to hell, offer thy glory, and no for only good or ill they've done afore thee. I bless and praise thy matchless might, when thousands thou hast left in night, that I am here afore thy sight for gifts and grace. I'm burning in a shining light to all this place. What was I or my generation that I should get sick exaltation? I would deserve most just damnation for broken laws. 6,000 years are my creation through Adam's cause. When from my mother's womb I fell, they might have plunged me deep in hell, to gnash me gooms and weep and wail in burning lakes, where damned devils roar and yell, chained to their stakes. Yet I am here, a chosen sample, to show thy graces great and ample. I'm here a pillar o' thy temple, strong as a rock, a guide, a buckler, and example to all thy flock. O Lord, thou kens what zeal I bear, when drinkers drink and swearers swear, and singing here and dancing there be great and small. For I am keepit by thy fear, free frae them all. And yet, O Lord, confess I must, at times I'm fast with fleshly lust, and sometimes too in worldly trust vile self gets in. But now remembers we are dust, defiled with sin. O Lord, yestreen the kens we meg, thy pardon I sincerely beg. Oh, may there be a living plague to my dishonour, and I'll ne'er lift a lawless leg again upon her. Besides, I further maun allow, we'll these last 3 times I trow. But Lord, that Friday I was fou when I come near her, or else the kens thy servant true would never steer her. Maybe thou lets this fleshly thorn buffet thy servant e'en and morn, lest he o'er prudent high should turn, that he sae gift it. If sae thy hone will e'en be born, until thou lift it. Lord, bless thy chosen in this place, for here thou has a chosen race. But God confound their stubborn face and blast their name, what brings thy elders to disgrace and public shame. Lord, mind gone Hamilton's deserts, he drinks and swears and plays at carts, but has some money talking arts with great and small. Fae God's own priest at people's hearts he steals them all. And when we chastened him therefore, the kens how he bred sick as floor, and set the world in a roar laughing at us. Cursed thou his basket and his store, kale and potatoes. Lord, hear my earnest cry and prayer against that presbytery air. Thy strong right hand, Lord, make it bear upon their heads. Lord, visit them and dinna spare for their misdeeds. Oh Lord my God, that glib-tongued Achan, my very heart and flesh are quaking, to think how we stood sweating, shaking and pissed with dread. Well, he be hanging lit and snaking, held up his head. Lord, in thy day of vengeance try them. Lord, visit them what did employ them, and pass not in thy mercy by them, nor hear their prayer. But for thy people's sake destroy them, and dinna spare. But Lord, remember me and mine, with mercies temporal and divine, that I for grace and gear may shine, excelled by name. And all the glory shall be thine. Amen. Amen. Ah, well, that's me. I'll walk to my bed now. Aye. Aye. Aye.
Thank you, Davy. My eternal cry to Willie Devoy is, can you repeat that in English? So, because the Scots is very hard for me to understand, but that was funny. So, I have a passion for the Corries, and the Corries do a song called the Bricklayer's Song. And I have a friend who's got another son, also called Benjamin, who's also into musical theatre. So this is a different Benjamin, but it's Benjamin Isaac, and he's doing the Bricklayers song.
Dear sir, I write this note to you to tell you of my plight. For at the time of writing this, I'm not a pretty sight. My body is all black and blue, my face a deathly grey. I write this note to say why I am not at work today. While working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear, but tossing them from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't very pleased, he was an awkward sod, and he said I had to cart them down the ladders in me odd. While clearing all these bricks by hand, it was so very slow. I hoisted up a barrel and secured the rope below. But in me haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that the barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. And so when I untied the rope, the barrel felt like lead, and in clinging tightly to the rope, I started up instead. I shot up like a rocket, and to my dismay I found that halfway up I met the bloody barrel coming down. Well, the barrel broke me shoulder as to the ground it sped, but when I reached the top I banged the pulley with me head. I clung on tightly, numb with shock from this almighty blow, while the barrel spilled out half its bricks some 14 floors below. Now when these bricks had fallen from the barrel to the floor, I weighed the barrel and so started down once more. But I clung on tightly to the rope, my body racked with pain, and halfway down I met the bloody barrel once again. The force of this collision halfway down the office block caused multiple abrasions and a nasty case of shock. But I clung on tightly to the rope as I fell towards the ground. I landed on the broken bricks the barrel scattered round. Well, as I lay there on the floor, I thought I'd passed the worst, but the barrel hit the pulley and the bottom burst. The shower of bricks rained down on me, I didn't have a hope. As I lay there bleeding on the ground, I let go of the bloody rope. The barrel now being heavier, it started down once more. It landed right across me as I lay there on the floor. It broke 3 ribs in my left arm, and I can only say, I hope you'll understand why I am not at work today. God, that hurt.
Thank you. So that was my friend's son. He's only a young boy. He's 17 or 18 doing that. So that was lovely. So the next thing we have is again Benji Smokler, and he's now going to be doing My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose.
Oh, my love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry, till all the seas gang dry, my dear, till all the seas gang dry, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry, till all the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun, and I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. But fare thee well, my only love, oh, fare thee well awhile, and I will come again, my love, though 'twere 10,000 mile, though 'twere 10,000 mile, my love, though 'twere 10,000 mile, and I will come again, my love, though 'twere 10,000 mile.
Now thank you. That just goes to show you that Burns can be sung by all and sundry, not just by Scottish people. So next we have Galamothry and
Oh, flower of Scotland, when will we see your light again? And forth the night fall, your weaved hill and glen, and stood against him. Our Edward Thirty, and sent them homeward.
Scotland. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that little sing-along. Just thought I'd get you a bit rebel-roused, or whatever you want to call it. But I actually know all the words to Flower Scotland. That's not bad for a London girl. So next we have Willie again. Sorry, Willie. But he's going to do another Burns poem or another effing poem.
Definitely another Burns poem this time.
Okay.
This is a comedy poem, probably written as a nursery rhyme. And I have to say, folks, after this, I'm out because I need to go and defrost my car and get to work. I'm night shift tonight, so I'll do this and then I'll say goodbye and you can continue the rest of the night. This is Willie Wassell, or Sick a Wife as Willie Had. And if you want to teach your wains or grandmains about Burns, this is the place to start. It's only 4 verses. Willie Wassell dwelt on Tweed, the spot they called it Lincoln Doddy. Willie was a lobster gid. He could stone a clue with anybody. He had a wife, was dour and dim. Oh, Tinkler Major was a mother. And sick a wife as Willie had. I wouldn't give a button for her. She has an E. She has but yin. The cat has twa the very colour. 5 rusty teeth, for by a stump, and a clapper tongue that would deafen a miller. A whisking beard about her moo, her nose and chin they threaten other. Sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldn't give a button for her. She's bow-hawked, she's hem-shinned, a limping leg, a hand-breed shorter. She's twisted left, she's twisted right, the balance fair in ilka quarter. She has a hump upon her breast, the twin of that upon her shoulder. And sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldn't give a button for her. Old Bawdrins, that's the pussycat, old Bawdrins by the ingle sits, and wi' aloof her face a washing. But Willie's wife, she's nae sae trig, she decks her grunsy wi' a hushing. Her wally kneves like midden creels, her face would foul the Logan water. And sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldn't give a button for her. Thank you.
Thank you, Willie.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to go now. I'm very sorry, but thank you very much all for joining. I hope you enjoy yourself and enjoy the rest of the evening. And it's been a fabulous night so far. Thank you. Good night.
Night. Thank you. Good journey. So next we have our very own John Beaver, who was in a band called Vagaband, and we're going to hear a little bit of Scottish music. film Vagabond. So thank you, the cool dude, John Beaver. Very cool dude. So next we have a poem by Fergus Gillies, who is, I think, the Rotary of Edinburgh. So this is Fergus Gillies' poem.
Well, good evening, everybody. How wonderful that despite the current restrictions and edicts, we could still gather together in this way and celebrate Burns in traditional Scottish evenings. And we can have a wee traditional drink without worrying about driving home. All we need to worry about afterwards is getting up the stairs. But do you ever wonder how these traditions and recipes came about? How the various drinks came into being? In the days before Google, in our club, if we wanted to know the history of virtually anything, we would simply ask our own dear Rotarian, the late Ian McLaren, who had such a phenomenal memory and who loved to share his knowledge. I remember him telling me the origin of one particular drink. He said, after the Battle of Culloden, Prince Charlie was subdued and sodden, with mud-caked kilt and blood-stained brow. He moaned, I'm not so bonny now. Flora MacDonald told him, Prince, stay here and you'll be mashed to mince. I've got a boat, it's only wee, but big enough for you and me. Thank you, said Charlie. Let's get going, and Flora, you can do the rowing. So Flora, with her princely load, sang the Skye boat song as she rowed. The prince said, Skye's the place to hop, they make a damn fine single malt. I'll gather herbs and heather there, and mix them with that whisky rare. And when the brew is good and gooey, I think I'll call the stuff Drambuie. So gallant Flora saved the day, and the prince got clean away. He won no kingdom, that's for sure, but boy, he made a good liqueur. Slán te bhfear, and good evening.
Thank you, Fergus. Slán te bhfear. I hope I'm saying that right. So the next thing we have is a poem by, and I'm going to say it right, Sinead.
Oh, yeah,
No, it's not Sinead. Okay?
Shaunash MacDonald. And she's going to do a poem that's in Gaelic, and then she does the English translation.
Fescar ma. Ha mi an nóchas go bhfuil aiche ma ag a chula duine agus go bhfuil an thuisce bheith gad cumad blá. Ha mi an dul a gísgút began fiarinan no Robert Burns. Tap a laibh go Bunscoil Meadowbank ynad fyllan mi an Gaelic son na fiarinan seo. Chai ober Robert Burns edar hengagach go céhar fichad sa deich canan. Ja. Hachar a ciad eiche Burns an an hoch ciad diag sa hyn. 3. Hug an spierar Nick Patrick leis bardach Burns túrascan is spieran. Céhar. Ha oran Burns a clwych ag solas traffic an na Japan. Ha coming through the rye a clwych son gíshaif go bhfuil savaltje son cosiach an rád. Ha mi an nóchas gun do cord na fianan an sein rút agus go mi eiche scannealach of chula. Eiche va. So a quick translation for you now into English. What I said there was, good evening. I hope that you're all having a good night and that the whiskey is keeping you all warm. I said I'm going to tell you a few facts now about Robert Burns, and thank you to Meadowbank Primary School Gaelic Medium Unit for teaching me these facts. Number 1 was that the works of Robert Burns have been translated into 90 different languages. Number 2 was that the very first Burns Night took place in the year 1801. Number 3 was that the astronaut, Nick Patrick, took some works of Robert Burns with him on a space mission. And the last one, number 4, was that Burns' music is playing at a traffic light in Japan, and that Coming Through the Rye plays to the people crossing the road to let them know that it is safe to cross. I then just ended by saying that I hope you enjoyed learning these facts and that you all have a fantastic evening. Good night.
So this is Onnie MacDonald. So thank you very much, Sinead. That was really interesting, and thank you for the translation as well, because the Gaelic meant nothing to me, but the English did. So thank you very much. Now, the Rotary is all about the young people, and the future of the Rotary is with the young people. So this is not in Scottish or Gaelic. It's not a Scottish song, but it is a young girl called Skye Munro, who is the granddaughter of our Rotarian Gordon. So thank you to Skye. She is going to sing a song called Caruso, and it's in Italian. But the youth of today are the Rotary of tomorrow. So here is Skye Munro.
Guido fino a luccica e dove tira forte vento su una vecchia terrazza davanti al golfo di Sorrento. Un uomo abbraccia una ragazza dopo che aveva pianto, poi si schiarisce la voce e ricomincia il canto. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene assai. È una catena ormai, che sogno e sangue tinte bene sai. Vide la luce in mezzo al mare, pensa alle notti là in America, ma erano solo lampade, le bianca sia di un'edica. Sente dolore nella musica, si alzò dal piano forte, e quando vide la luna uscire da una nuvola, bellissimo poi dolce anche la morte. Poi guardo negli occhi la ragazza, due occhi verdi, oh mamma. Poi d'improvviso uscirà una lacrima e lucre di te affogare. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto bene assai. È una catena ormai, che solo il sangue tinte bene sai. La potenza della lirica, dopo ogni dramma è un falso, che con un poco di trucco con la mimica sai, poi puoi anche levantare un altro. Così divento tutto piccolo, anche le soli noti là in America. Devo ti vedere la tua vita come la scia di un'elica. Te voglio
So thank you to Sky. If you can unmute yourself, Sarah, how old is Sky?
Hi, good evening. I just want to say it's been such a wonderful evening, and my daughter's 13 years old. 13.
Thank you. So Sarah, who sang Eubanks and Braes, that was her daughter singing that song. So thank you very much for that. I'd now like to pass to Janet McGill. Thank you, Janet.
Okay, thanks, Natalie. I just wanted, before we finish up, just to really to support what some of our members said at the beginning, because in these dark January nights when we're all locked in the house and fed up watching the same things on the television, it's just been such a great night to have all this wonderful entertainment and been entertained like this. It's been absolutely wonderful, and we've really enjoyed it here. We've had some wonderful contributors. Willie, to our present and former members of Rotary, from the members of the Rotary Club of Edinburgh, from family members and friends from Lucky Them in Tenerife. I don't know what we've done without Natalie's friends, because she's got so many friends. It's just wonderful that she's going to help to contribute to this night. So I'd like to thank them all, every single one of them, who are not here now, but are here, for their contributions, which has been so successful for this evening. Now, as you know, this is the first time we've done anything like this. We meet obviously by Zoom on a Monday night, but this has actually been the first time that we've done anything like this, when we've had music and song. And it really would not have been possible without our own Cecil B. DeMille, John Beaver, who's probably aged about 20 years in the last couple of hours. He's got no hair, but he didn't have hair before, just in case you wondered what had happened, because this has been a feat of extreme hard work. It's been lovely, you know, with all the clips coming in, but I think it's been even lovely to see the film clips behind some of the songs as well, which has made it even nicer. So thank you, John, for all your hard work and commitment to this. It's been a wonderful evening. Now, obviously, as Willie said at the beginning, we haven't had our usual fundraising events or to raise funds for our charities, but one of our members, Natalie from London, she had this inspirational idea that really we could put something on to raise money for charity. And as she said at the beginning, an amazing amount has been raised by your donations. Natalie had a dream, and the dream came off tonight. She's probably aged about 20 years as well during the night. But we have to say thank you, Natalie, for making this dream come true, this idea. And we thank you for all your hard work and commitment also for this night. But last of all, we'd like to thank you all for coming tonight and for your donations. It's been amazing to see the people coming up from all over the world. We've had people from, as I've said, Tenerife, from Canada, from America, from London and from Essex, and all over Scotland. This evening would have been possible if you hadn't all taken part as well. So we want to thank you for joining us. And the Rotary Club of Coatbridge, Airdrie and Monklands send our best wishes to you wherever you are in the world.
Thank you, Janet. That was lovely. Thank you very much. And we're going to end this evening with Auld Lang Syne. So can you please all unmute yourselves? Everybody unmute yourself and sing Auld Lang Syne together, and join hands with whoever you are with, and join hands virtually with everybody that's taken part. In this
That's the greatest secret I've ever pulled.
What?
This way first, then you do that. Go with the music.
What?
I've got my hands behind my back.
Thanks, Janet. It was amazing.
The most famous song.
Drink a cup of wine, sake of all thy lang.
Thank you everyone for coming. It has made it all worthwhile. We have raised a lot of funds. The funds will go to the local charities of Coatbridge, Airdrie and Monklands. So from me, thank you everybody so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you. Well done.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Ronnie.
Bye Ronnie.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye Brenda.
Bye.
Bye and Hayden. See you next year.
Thank you.
Bye, Albert.
Bye.
Hi Davey.
Bye, Michelle.
Bye, Gordon.
Ronnie.
Bye.
Bye, Ronnie.
Bye Eleanor.
Family in Tenerife.
Bye, Ronnie.
Love to everyone.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye, Anna. Yay.
Hi, Martin.
The one
By the way.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you now.
Bye.
It was a fantastic night. Fantastic night. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Bye, Marianne.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, John and Margaret. Not John and Margaret. What's it called?
Bye.
Bye.
Let's get the names wrong.
And Tony said that
Warwick, where are you?
Auf Wiedersehen.
We're here.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, we're here.
Warwick.
Right.
Bye.
Drunk hours.
I've got a cupboard full here.
Oh,
Coming over.
Iron Brew, Scotland's national drink.
Hope to see you, Ronnie. Hope to see you next year.
Bye.
Bye
Ronnie.
everybody.
Ronnie, I hope to see you.
Bye John. Bye Christine.
Bye.
Irons, I hope you enjoyed it. Ian Irons and Sky, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All my friends I
And
invited.
David and everybody.
Bye.
Family. Bye. And Sarah on Tenerife. I'm freezing here.
Good night. It's been a great night, and it's nice watching everybody saying goodbye, goodbye,
I know.
goodbye, goodbye.
It's been a lovely evening. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, it's been
Oh,
great.
thank you.
It's
Brenda,
a lot
we
of
met.
hard work, but it's been well worth it.
Yeah.
Brenda.
Very well done,
The money
Natalie.
raised has been brilliant. So
Is Oni still on? Can she
Brenda, we've met somewhere.
Yeah, yes. We were. I think we were AGs together in Birmingham.
All right, yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's quite a while ago.
I know.
And I think we met at Sillith as well. Oh yeah. We met at Sillith as well when you were doing some things at the Green.
That's
But I
true.
think it's quite a while ago at
Yes,
Birmingham.
yes.
Those were in the good old days, weren't it? When we all met up at Birmingham and had a great time.
And Marianne, you're originally from Germany.
Yes.
And she was taught in a German school. You were taught, maybe you can tell something. She's from the Rotary Club of Wilmslow.
Yes, Wilmslow in Cheshire, in the flooded Cheshire. Yes, we are alternating between floods and snow.
Oh.
where in Germany, Marianne?
Or the Rhineland. Oh.
Okay. My husband spent some time in Germany in Marburg and Freiburg.
Ah, my eldest son, he studied at Freiburg University. That's a lovely place.
Where you were? Yeah, that's where my husband was.
Ah,
Yeah, he was doing French and German at uni
Oh, yes.
and did
Yes.
time. How old is your son?
Oh, he's 55.
Ah, right, just a bit younger than my husband then. So different
Mhm.
times.
Yes.
Interesting.
But I'm a Celt, but I was born in Dublin.
In Dublin. I'm an honorary Adrianian.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
I was born in Whitechapel.
Right.
Oh,
well,
yes.
I'm now an honorary Cumbrian.
Cumbrian. In fact, my cousin Eleanor, who's still here, take yourself off of mute, Eleanor. My cousin Eleanor, she was actually in the house while I was being born.
I was. Some experience.
Are you trying to say she's older than you?
She is, yes. Only by a few years.
12 years. 12 years.
And it should be made known that Natalie is a Freeman.
It's been a good evening, and I really enjoyed myself, and I enjoyed your companies. I'll say good night to you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you dressed up, Albert.
Yes, listen,
I noticed.
you
noticed.
should always dress up for a sense of an occasion.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed with so many Rotarians tonight who sat there in T-shirts and all sorts of things. I thought all you Scots would be dressed up.
Yes,
I'm trying to modernise the Rotary.
Some people.
I just sent a picture to. I just sent a picture of myself to my wife. She's looking after her sister who's just had an operation down in Northampton. And she's come back and said, "Good."
Remind me, what club are you again, Albert?
Sorry.
Remind me, which club are you from again?
I'm from Bassantwaite. I'm the president of Bassantwaite for the second year running. Bassantwaite in Cumbria on the lake.
I knew you were down there somewhere. But
I used to be in Keswick.
Yes.
I was in Keswick for 18 years.
My brother lives in Seascale.
Oh, Seascale.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Annan.
There. It can get wet there.
Yeah.
I'm Rotary Club of Annan, but I'm sort of I'm saying I'm Rotary Club of Annan, but I'm kind of I'm kind of Port Rogerdry and Monklands as well.
Bye, Robert.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, John. Well done.
Story about
Martin.
Seascale.
Well done.
It's really nice to see you, Brenda.
Yeah, nice to see you as well.
And you.
See you
Ronnie, it was
sometime.
great to see Ronnie because Ronnie comes to our club a couple of times a year.
So,
Good night to you.
right, I'm going to end the meeting.